Mic check. All right, excellent. Well, let me send this. Where are we? Give me 14 seconds. I was meant to send this, but I haven't sent it yet. So give me 14 seconds. Da. And one more. Blah, 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 blah. Where's the other one? Da. There we go. Excellent. Cool. Done. I think I'm done. Cool. All right. Well, this is Rap Raven, everyone. Where's my fantastic PDF? You should be watching that now. All right. Screen share. Oh, there we go. Windows. And there it is. Cool. Welcome, everyone. This is the 141st show of the Betterment Broadcast. That's right. We're 141 times where Black people have tried to help Black people on Black issues. Fantastic. Good. So we're going to start how we always start. So when it comes to working as a collective with only Black people on matters that benefit Black issues, Black progression, and Black ownership, Black people are collectively inadequate. Yes, we need to work on that, people. Individually, you might find a non-Black person who shows some kind of camaraderie towards Black people. However, collectively, Black people have no friends. That's right. We yet to have friends, family. Very sad, but very true. But more importantly, and we're going to unpack that today as we unpack every week, constructive Black man with constructive Black woman makes a constructive Black family. We're going to unpack that today. We've got some social ideas we're going to use to incorporate that idea in. So we'll get to that when we get to that. Fantastic. We're going to send the link out as we always do. And when we do, please, can we practice the 4D values, which is discipline, dedication, dignity, and discernment. That's right. Trying to use profanity, please. I know it's hard. Some people get used to using profanity everywhere they go, everywhere they show, and all that good stuff. But when we're here, we want to be very constructive. So let's try to minimize profanity. Unless we're using it as a case study. All right. So what is Black Betterment for those who are new to the broadcast? It's very simple. Black Betterment is Black people helping Black people on Black issues for betterment. It's a lifestyle. This broadcast promotes the lifestyle of Black Betterment. Yes, there you go. Now you know. All right. We're going to show some videos and, for case studies. So please don't get angry, blah, blah, blah. And also check out our Black Betterment building Instagram if you can. Right. So today's fantastic show. Greetings all. Greetings, everyone. Let's see what it is. So today we have, can we invent social games that empower Black people? And do Black biracial people feel diminished by the promotion of Black love? Where does this come from? So two topics there. One is, I think his name was Mizzy or Mizza. I'm a bad guy because I didn't remember it, so shame on me twice. But there's a young brother, young kid, 18 years old, I guess, and he's on the TikTok, and basically he's been arrested for many things. Many things, and we're going to actually see some of them. But the idea is what we're thinking of, rather than just ridicule the young man, which I'm sure we're going to do. We actually maybe want to offer some kind of guidance or some kind of alternative of what these TikTokers could be doing instead of incriminating themselves and making a scene for themselves. So that's one thing. And then also, I was on Instagram and there's a lady called, is it Lynn? I'm very bad with names, and this is my fault, and I should be punished for this. Lynn something. I'm going to say Lynn for now, but if you know her real name, just saying it. She's pictures in the right corner there. She's on TV, I see sometimes, and she identifies as a biracial person. She's on a lot of these kind of like Black shows, where she doesn't seem to be really speaking much for the Black side, but it is what it is. Anyway, she posted some video of a question, and maybe we'll cover that one first. That might be easier. Yeah. Ooh, where's the video? Is it not here? Here it is. So basically, here's what it is. There's a basketball player called LeBron James, and his younger son, quite a big man now, I assume 16, something now at this age. I think he's pictured with a European lady at the prom or as a date or this kind of thing. And obviously, a lot of people are not best pleased. They're like, your dad practices Black love. He's a rich man. You should take a Black sister out, as you should be doing. It's good. Promote Black love. Yeah, excellent. However, she wants to give her opinion. Her dad is Black, and I think her mum is Asian, and I think she felt away about something. So let's have a listen, and then we can go to part 2 of the unpack. Go!
Now, to be honest,
rewind.
I'm a bit tired of certain racial conversations, right?
Yeah.
And growing up, even now, to be honest, the majority of my friends are Black women. Dark skin, to be specific. So when they used to talk about Black men dating outside of their race more than any other group, I would empathize, I would listen, I'd understand, I'd get it. But when people actually ask me, do you think Black men should date outside of their race, and give me examples like this one, yeah? Like, bruh, I'm a product of interracial marriage. Like, what do you want me to say? The moment I speak against black men or anyone dating outside their race, I'm essentially against there being mixed race individuals like myself. Like, do people not think about the impact? I'm not saying we're victims, mixed race people, but every time people speak against interracial relationships, they're speaking against us as mixed race people.
So that's an interesting thing because what this young lady has done is she said that whenever people like promote a black club, or more so in this, as in question why so many black men are not picking beautiful black women, what she's done, she's kind of internalized an argument and said that people are against the existence of her, which is very interesting. And maybe many so-called biracial black people or biracial people, mixed race people, whatever term we use today, maybe people like that feel that way. Are you a biracial person, so-called biracial? Do you identify as such? How do you feel? Is that the case? Which is very problematic because Black Love is a fundamental promotion that all black empowerment groups will promote, how to produce black families, this kind of stuff. Um, I did actually jump on. Should I read some? Because I jumped on in the comment section. I don't know if I can find it. It's probably took me 5 years. Oh, let me log into my other account. Dun, 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 dun. I did actually have a back and forth with this young lady. And as you know, usually when you talk about black love and these kinds of things, it usually ends up very bad and people are not best pleased. And many people jump in to the aid. But what did we write? Let me see if I can find. Oh, look at it. Maybe if I can click on one thing and then open it. There should be an easy way to use these interactive. There we go. Let me click on that. Turn that down. 17 seconds, family. I should have been prepared about what you're gonna do. All right. So what did I write? So let me see if I can write to some long epic thing up that I don't really want to keep reading out. But let's see what we got to. So I think I jumped to it when I said this, and yeah, like I said, we hear that family. If you are a person with one black parent and you feel a way about the promotion of black love, let us know because I always say we want to find a solution. I think I said it. The solution for us was historically people with one black parent have always been included in black Betterment acts, and they're always welcome to practice black Betterment, i.e., they can always marry a black person and practice black love and this kind of stuff. But maybe it's new age, new thinking. Who knows? So what did I say? I said promoting black love has nothing to do with speaking against mixed kids in quotation marks. Mixed people can marry a black person, as has been done in the times of enslavement. As a community, we need to understand the mission: produce constructive black families. If you don't find a black partner, your family at that point is not black. And what we mean by this is, if you can't find a black wife, then you can't have a black family because already one member isn't black, right? And where are we? Blah, blah, where are we? Not black, and it's not the responsibility of black people. And I say very important topic. And people have jumped in with essays, but I think she jumped in and said, "You made no mention of the offence caused to the mixed race people, but okay, you're just here you're just here with X, Y, and Z." So I think there's maybe some kind of pain in this lady's voice, maybe, and if there's pain, let us know. I jumped in and I said, what did I say? I said, help me to understand how mixed people are offended by black love promotion when mixed people are included in the process. Is Obama not practicing black love with the black family? Do you understand that we promote black love because it's how communities are maintained? And then the lady jumped in and said, well, and this is interesting because we're going to unpack this. Well, Western black communities are not being maintained. The highest absent fathers are Caribbean British black men, which her dad is fine and at least and the least to get married. So start there. Funny enough, she doesn't know about the Black Betterment Broadcast because that's where we do start. Funny enough, but maybe she thinks we're this round the mill kind of black collective. Who knows? So are we? Even when black couples are together, which there's a lot. Why isn't this reflection in positive economics? So I think she's saying that there's many black people together. Why can't we get our economic gains together? So she's laughing like it's competition. But what we have to understand is when we press Black Betterment, it's a collective thing. It isn't that, got ya. One of the first things we do every show, as you know, is we admit that unfortunately black people are collectively inadequate. And that's why we have to have very specific templates of how to maneuver from being that way. So what did I say? I said, you are right. You are very right. Black Caribbean men are not picking black women at high rates, not being in the house and not building any institutions. This is true. That's why we promote constructive black love and the importance of black families. We use Ham's Redemption and Argentina as a case study. Our plan is to not make mixed children feel isolated, but include them in the solution campaign. So once again, you see we're being very kind, very considerate. And I've gone on to say hello to stuff. Should I? I mean, we did go back and forth too much. Let's see. Did you say anything else? No, well, she then moved on to say after I said a few things, black betterment won't work. Here we go. Very interesting use of terms. Black betterment won't work because the ideology of black race was made by Europeans. You hear that a lot as well. Like black people can't exist because it's a social construct. I say, well, so is money. Can I have all of yours? And they never give me any of it, which is interesting. Anyway, and then your idea has its foundations in struggle, trying to group all people together who have a certain skin color together when there is tribes who look similar who don't even like each other or have the same beliefs or cultures. Other groups are bound by historical religion, culture, and class. That's why there's no such thing as the black community. You need to start something where race isn't the precursor or the prerequisite when you try to unite people. So that, and I obviously went on to just combat that and stuff. And then what should I read? I can't remember through my stuff there. But, let me go on. All right, one more, guys. I said, like I said before, the minority can control the majority. White supremacy and how white people can get on code with each other shows that man-made paradigms can work. I only hear this "we can't do it" type of talk when black people talk about getting organized. We are covering this topic of do people with one black parent feel it's necessary to sabotage black progress and black love. We might use this video as a case study. The reason why black people have slow progress is because of anti-black racism and black self-sabotage. We are making codes to fix this, and code one is black love, constructive black man with constructive black woman is a celebrated trope. You're always welcome to talk on the pros and cons of black love if you get time. I invite her, and then she went on to just insult, say you guys don't inspire me, this kind of stuff, right? Which is unfortunate. But she's always welcome. Her and any other person who doesn't believe in black love wants to try to promote Ham's redemption or whatever they're doing. You're always welcome for us to put our argument. But anyway, so the story there was obviously talking to people in the community with one black parent and how some of them might feel when you promote black love, or when maybe some women or men are ain't best pleased when high, affluent, rich people choose not to marry within the community and then push the economics out of the community. So that was where that comes from. So we started the show there, and that's just my report on that. And if you have anything you'd like to say, let me know. Okay, when I was reading, I could see those messages. Can't mixed people marry other mixed people? They are now 3% of the population in UK after all. And that's what we said. We said a person can practice black love. They can marry other mixed people or other black people. There is no issues. And no one has ever really made that kind of division between mixed and black. There was something that Amos Wilson said, which I need to get the video of it, but he was saying that this new deck, before they never really had this kind of mixed, really never had it as a category. And he said that category will use as a new form of division. And I can see where he was coming from. But we can research that. He's a very intelligent man like that. Okay. Why I didn't know that was a thing with people with one, with one black parent. This is what Christy says. Big up Christy. Well, this is the thing. We don't know. This might be a unique thing because not to try to divide anything, but I'm aware of this lady and there's another lady. They tend to go on these kind of UK shows where they don't seem to really be on the collective black side. I could be wrong. Shame on me if I am. But obviously, there's one black parent people out there who are very strong for the black unity and the black couple and this kind of stuff. But we invite you guys on the show. You are in the community and your opinions does matter. But once again, understand the foundation of black people is constructive black man with constructive black woman. Now, speaking of that, we're going to go to the other thing where we were talking about, where's that video? Where there's a young gentleman and he's going around doing these TikTok stunts. So let's watch him on Piers Morgan. Let's have a listen to what's happening, and then we can break that down as well. Who was the lady, please, bro? This lady, okay, let me read her name. And if I read it wrong, Lemmy Talks. Is it? Let me write it. I'm gonna write her Instagram in the group. She's known on TV and these kinds of things. I'm not good with names because I have problems with names. It's one of my problems in life. But her name is Lemmy Talks, I believe it is, and she's down as a manager, assets manager, something like this. And she does, I guess, economic stuff, but she's always on some kind of show talking about something. So let me put her in the thing. That's her Instagram. When you see her, and she's the woman clearly there. That's her. She's usually on TV. I don't know. Yeah. So maybe her face might change in a couple of months because people change their face and stuff. I don't know, but that's her. Cool. Now let's go to the other topic, which is the young kid who's doing reckless behavior.
Nagging
Are you all right?
But first, many young people see social media stardom.
Oh, let's forget the sister Tina Turner passed away. One of the legends of the 60s and 70s and 80s, and we'll have to do a reminder of her at some point. She's definitely beloved and missed. But yeah, just don't forget that.
As a fast track to fame and fortune, people you've never heard of can become very famous and very wealthy very quickly from the business of bagging clicks and followers online. But with more than 500 hours of content uploaded every single minute just to YouTube, how do they even begin to get noticed? Well, some influencers have a talent. They can sing or dance. Some give brash opinions. Some play computer games. Some give friendly tutorials on things like how to do makeup or make music. But others get their clicks by, honestly, behaving like complete morons. In California, a YouTuber and pilot faced 20 years in jail for crashing an airplane to get more subscribers. Others have jumped from city buildings, taken on wild animals, crashed cars, you name it. However mad it is, someone has tried it just for the clicks. And all in the name of becoming Insta-famous. This week, a social media prankster named Mizzy has generated headlines and abject outrage for so-called pranks, which mostly involve just terrorizing innocent bystanders.
Into random houses, let's go.
James, come to the front door right now, please.
James.
So what they're showing is that this gentleman, young brother, was running into Europeans' houses and just just walking in and trying to talk to the family, and obviously causing a concern.
Hello.
Here's one incident where he tries to steal an old woman's dog as a prank.
You got a nice dog. Big gang, whole lot of gangs. We outside. I'm perfectly fine.
This is the more disturbing one where he's talking to a group of young white European girls and he's touching their hair, and which is, I think, for optic standpoint, Europeans would never like this. But what it is, he's also saying, "Do you want to die?" which is part of his kind of brand, where he tells people, "Do you want to die?" and then he takes out a dye, some kind of dye product, but you dye your hair, whatever. He's now pictured on top of some kind of black cat.
Well, as public...
You see, there's a lot of trying to get popular on the TikTok app by doing reckless things. You see a lot of youth doing it. But this young gentleman has been arrested for the shenanigans he's done. And we can say rightly so. Like, you're doing inappropriate behavior, and in certain communities it wouldn't be tolerated, it would be thumbed down. So you've got to be very careful.
Anger grew this week. London's Met Police announced they were looking for Mizzy, real name Bakari Bronzagaro. The law caught up with him, and today he was fined £365 and given a criminal behaviour order, which is supposed to ban him from posting to social media without the written permission of the people in his videos. You might think that's not much of a punishment or much of a deterrent. But what does he think? Well, fresh from the courtroom, he's here now. All right, well, good evening to you.
Hello, Piers. Long time no see.
What do you mean, long time no see?
Last time I hopped on your thing with my friend.
Oh, that's right, you appeared in the background, didn't you?
Mate.
Digging into you.
Mate.
Okay, well, I'm not your mate.
What I am is
an interviewer I'm curious about what has been motivating you to terrorise the people around where you live. Why do it?
I wouldn't really call it terrorising, I would just call it more having fun. But let's get this out of the way first. I apologise. You see this situation that blew up on the internet, the walking into random houses? The next day, I apologised to the woman because I felt bad, innit? Like, deeper than social media. Like, it went deeper than social media. That's why I didn't record it. She recorded me apologising to her. I told her sorry, and she explained that she was terrified because her children were in the house. And I understood it.
What were you doing in the house?
What was I doing in the house? I don't know. It was a stupid video. Like, I got peer pressure to say it. I don't want to say it like in that way, but...
Or somebody else's fault?
I'm not blaming it on no one else.
I mean, you break into a house with a woman and a husband and two young kids.
I went into the house on my own accord.
No, I'm just saying, okay, you went through their door, right? But it's not your house. You're not supposed to be in there.
Oh, no shit.
You are causing a lot of alarm to that poor woman and to her children who are in the house. You then terrorise this poor elderly woman and take her dog away and traumatise her.
So the story about that... Hang on. Let me speak. Yeah, because no. Let me speak. No.
I think he's been arrested in after the show as well. Big up, Christy.
I'm going to tell you.
Let me talk about that situation.
No, for the viewers, wait a minute.
Wait a minute.
For the viewers,
Wait a minute.
For the viewers who
Wait a
don't know
minute.
what you've
Hold
done,
up, hold up.
I'm going to tell
Hold
them.
up, because
No,
you
you
can see it
hold
on
on.
TV right now.
No,
You
you
can
can
see it on
hold on.
TV right now.
I'm
It's
explaining.
going viral everywhere.
I'm
They
explaining.
already know what's been happening.
Don't just keep talking like an idiot.
I
Right? Don't. Let me finish what the viewers don't know you did. You go up and you do these things. You take a dog from an elderly woman. You leapfrog over the top of an Orthodox Jewish man standing at the side of the road minding his own business. You go up to women in the street and say, do you want to die?
It wasn't a woman, it was a man. And she even
There were
says,
also women that
there
you
was
did this
maybe
to.
women there, but I only say it to the man.
Right. You shouldn't be saying it to anybody.
Fair enough. But
Why, in the name of so-called prankster humour, why cause so much alarm and distress to so many people? Do you get your kicks out of doing that?
Not necessarily, but you could say that this whole public outroar just makes me laugh because people are getting hurt over something that didn't happen to them. And that's how I see it as.
What do you mean?
People are getting hurt over something that didn't happen to them. Everyone acts like they have this persona like they don't care, social media is a facade, this, that, and the other. But when me comes out and does the mad thing, everyone has something to say.
It's not a mad thing.
It's the mad thing. It's the mad thing. You already said it was the mad thing.
It's a mad thing. No, it's not mad.
I think he got arrested again because he violated his probation or whatever. Like he was trying to film a TikTok again without permission, I think. But yeah, this is him there. We're just going to listen to a bit more.
It's moronic. It's the kind of thing anybody could do, and you do it for kicks and you do it for clicks, and you get your little moment on TikTok, and presumably your peer group that you referenced earlier, they all think, good on you, Mizzy, this is hilarious. Meanwhile, some poor woman thinks you've stolen her dog and is traumatised. Another woman has her 2 kids and you're bursting into their house uninvited.
All right.
You're jumping on Jewish people.
See, I was
right, who are already
Jewish people. Hold up, wait a minute, wait, no, stop.
You did.
Cool, it was a Jewish person, cool. But there was a trend going around on TikTok called 300. I've done this to numerous people, black people, white people, age, any types of people. I don't discriminate. So don't stop saying Orthodox Jewish person like I only targeted him and it was only him that I went for.
Why are you targeting anybody in that manner?
What do you mean, why am I targeting anyone? It was a trend. It was a trend. I just done it for a trend.
What's the trend? What's the trend?
300, jump over someone at the time of the beat.
However much you scare them.
However much you scare them.
There's a picture of him trying to drive over a man dressed in Jewish garments.
Or even if you push them into a car.
No, that didn't happen though, because I saw
it. Didn't happen by chance.
It didn't happen, but it didn't happen.
A lot of the stuff that you do could have consequences far more.
So I was asking, where's his parent? I think it's somebody. I think he says he doesn't. He doesn't speak to his mum. Don't know about his dad.
Serious, but you don't care, do you?
And it's interesting that he's here on his own. Maybe he's 18. I know he's a young man-ish, whatever, but it would be good if he had some kind of guidance here. Or something.
As long as you get a laugh.
I have remorse. I have remorse for all of these
things. You don't have any remorse.
What do you mean I don't have any remorse? How are you telling me?
You have no remorse.
Are you in my life? Do you live in my life?
Huh?
Are you there for my pranks? Have you been there in my life?
What's your life? Tell me.
You tell me my life.
Presumably, this is whether.
Presumably,
are you about?
My life.
Presumably, you're about to tell me the sob story, are you? What's the sob story?
There's no sob story.
Well, go on then. What's so bad about your life that makes you do this?
My whole life, innit? I just do it for fun. On or off camera, I do my thing.
Tell me about your life. What justifies this? What's happened to you that makes you think you're justified in doing this?
What do you mean tell me about my life?
Well, you said you know nothing about your life. Tell me about your life.
Because I'm trying to get onto you because I'm black. Because I guarantee...
Yeah, that's something that's caused issue. He mentioned being black. And some people are not best pleased with that because they're saying you're breaking the law and then you're saying that you're bringing unnecessary attention to this behavior pattern.
Because you're black?
Person, yeah, I guarantee if
I don't give a damn about your skin colour.
Really?
No. Why would I care what colour your skin is? Really? I just think you're an idiot.
Oh, thank you. I think you're an idiot too.
That's fine. You're perfectly entitled to.
Yeah, so are you. So
this show's called Uncensored. I think you're an idiot for what you've been doing. Okay. I also think you're an idiot for playing the race card when no one's mentioned your skin colour.
Really? Okay, you don't have to mention it to...
I don't care about your skin colour, Lizzie. I care about the fact that you've been terrorising all these people for a sustained period of time. I also care about the fact you've only got a tiny fine today. No deterrent to you whatsoever. You don't show any real remorse. You don't really care, do you?
The UK laws are weak, simple as. And that's not, the UK laws are weak, simple as, and that's not my fault. That's not my fault.
He says the UK laws are weak. One thing we have to remember that, obviously, when you look in the States, unfortunately, there's young black men, boys, who are murdered by knocking on the wrong door. And here, in the UK, this young man has, walked into people's houses with his camera out, doing whatever he's doing, and this is the parallels we have to remember and stuff. Sometimes you've got to be responsible, and obviously, this young man is not.
Like in America,
what do your family make of what you've been doing?
What do my family make? Well, I don't chat to my mum anymore. And
why not?
Why not? Because I just don't talk to her. It's irrelevant to you, but I just don't chat to her, innit? And what?
So I assume who does he live with? Does he live alone? Does he live with his father? He doesn't mention his father.
My sisters are calm, but like obviously they don't fully commend what I do, but.
Do any of your family condemn what you do?
No, of course not. Like obviously.
They think it's all perfectly normal.
No, there's certain videos that they'll be like, no, you can't be doing that. Like especially just walking into the random houses, man. So.
It's interesting how, and that's what we're going to get into the actual theme of the show, where these guys are like, they're addicted to clickbait, and this concept of actually developing a talent like juggling or doing backflips, whatever they do, and trying to get a following that way. They don't want to do that. They want to try to do shock value and stuff. So as a community, we can think, is there any ideas we can push forward for them to do? But let's carry on listening.
Certainly not. But that was more of a spur of the moment thing. I just got egged on and my ego got a hold of me. And I realized that at that moment, and that's why I went to apologize the next day. After it all blew up out of proportion, and I felt like bad personally.
I don't think you felt bad.
Okay, well you can say that. You can say that. I'm telling you.
I think you felt bad.
No, see, you're interrupting me. Why are you interrupting me? I'm talking.
I'm
talking.
Yeah, it's fine.
I'm talking.
Carry on being an idiot.
Okay, we are siding in districts every time.
I'm actually not going to call you Mizzy, because it's obviously a stage. I'll call you Bakari Bronze, right?
All right.
Bakari Bronze, let's try and talk to each other as human beings.
All right, Piers.
All right? Yeah, I'm trying to understand why there's no real remorse here.
Why do you not understand? What do you mean why there's no real remorse? I went to go apologise off social media. I could have recorded that apology and that would have been another viral video, whether it's hate or whatever. Literally, hate.
So we're going to watch a few minutes of this. It's almost done. But we've also posted the link in there. So if you want to jump in and give your commentary, feel free. The link's there. Let me see if I can pin it as well.
Hate brings money. Hate brings likes. Hate brings views. It doesn't matter. Love or hate, it still brings views.
Why do you prefer to do the hate?
He just said, love or hate still brings views. So once again, we see the importance of views to this young gentleman. And to the point we're going to jail and making a fool of himself and embarrassing his family, this kind of stuff. It's all for clicks and likes. Can I tag? Let me hold on. Pin message. There you go. Wow. Cool. So yeah, let's just case study
stuff.
It's not like I prefer to do the hateful stuff. It's just like it's easier to do the hateful stuff.
Why are you laughing?
And
it's fun?
obviously, I don't think it's fun, but you're a funny person.
You do think it's funny?
You're a funny person.
You do. I've seen the videos. You do
Obviously,
think it's just really funny.
At the time, I think it's funny. My fan base thinks it's funny, and it's we outside, innit?
It would be interesting to know who his fan base are, because in the States there's this trend of black men who eat food and dance, and they try to emulate olden buffoonery kind of tropes. And when you look at a lot of their following, the people who actually find them funny, it's usually Europeans, white people, while a lot of black people are not best pleased. So it'd be interesting to see who's actually a big fan of these kind of videos.
Movement. But
what's the movement?
Deep down, being free and not letting anyone tell you nothing. That's why I can do all of this stuff. I'm the most hated person on the internet right now.
No, you're not. Most people don't know who you are.
Okay then, whatever you say, innit? Whatever you say.
Most people watching this will have never heard of you and care
whatever you
even
say,
less.
well, now they are. You just brought it to me. Now they are.
They'll just look at the way you're behaving now and they'll think, yeah, he's a complete moron.
All right, and you're a complete moron. You keep cutting me, interrupting me when I'm trying to talk.
Because you keep talking in this animated manner, trying to stop me asking you any questions. And then you say, is it because I'm black? As if somehow it's about a racial
thing. He's going back to the race card. Why are you going back to that? I said that once.
No, you mentioned it.
I mentioned it once.
I've never once mentioned your skin colour.
All right, cool. Go on.
I don't care what colour you are.
All right.
If you were white, I'd have exactly the same view about your moronic behaviour.
All right.
But I'm curious, who in your family is there to tell you this is wrong?
Why do you need to go to my family? I'm my own person, so talk about me.
Because you don't.
No.
Because you don't.
Talk about me, not my family.
Yes, but here's the problem.
What's the problem?
You are clearly a product of your upbringing.
No, I'm not. I'm my own person. I've always been my own person.
You've had no one to tell you this is wrong.
Of course, people have told me it's wrong. Family, friends, everyone's told me it's wrong.
Who's told you it's wrong?
What do you mean? My own mother told me it's wrong. There's been situations between me and my mum where
Right, so your mother doesn't like what you're doing.
Of course, yeah.
So why don't you stop doing it? Because my mother told me to stop doing something.
Okay, and that's your mother. You listen to your mother. You listen to somebody else. I'm my own person. I'm legally an adult now, so I can do what I want.
What are you going to do now?
What am I going to do now? Twitter, Mizzy is banned, and I'm going to be on Twitch. Yeah, I'm going to start streaming on Twitch, IRL streams, gaming streams. My Twitch is Mizzy is live if you want to get at that. But yeah.
And do you want to try and come up with a sincere apology or not?
No, I don't need to come up with no sincere apology. I already have my own remorse, and I already.
You don't have any remorse, do you?
What do you mean? Okay, then whatever you.
To you, it's all a bit of a joke. And if you steal some old woman's dog, it's all a bit of fun. If you jump on a Jewish man, it's all a bit of fun. if you run into people's houses.
What's interesting as well is they say jump on the Jewish man, and the reason why that's important is the status of how Jewish people um, have kind of branded themselves. So it isn't you're jumping on a man, you're jumping on a Jewish man, because and obviously this is an extra shock.
With young kids and terrorise them. It's all a bit of fun.
But what I'm saying to you
nothing
is,
really matters.
What
right?
I'm saying to you is, there's been plans to change up everything. And you're just no help in it. You just talk your own thing. And you have your own set morals, and yeah. So that's you.
No, it's not about morality. I just
Okay,
think,
cool.
I just
Whatever
think,
you say, I will still talk.
Link is in the group. Feel free to jump in to add your commentary if you like.
I'm still talking. You
Yeah,
interrupt me again, Piers.
Okay,
Piers Morgan, why'd you keep interrupting me?
Let me tell you,
bro?
we're going to put both of ourselves out of this misery, and we'll just end it there, because
Yeah, I
you
think
are,
you should end it,
as I said at the
because,
start,
like,
you're just a complete moron.
And so are you.
So until you
just
stop
talk
being a
over
moron,
people, bro.
you will be
You just
treated
talk
like a
over
moron.
people, bro.
You are Mizzy,
The man didn't really
the
know.
moron. For the
Boxing
record,
match
he
in
wasn't paid
August.
for this,
Boxing match in
obviously.
August.
I
We
feel like
outside.
paying viewers, actually, if I just
Keep
put up
sharing
with
the
it.
stream.
Right. Okay. That was Piers Morgan. That was so. See what we're doing. We were looking at can we invent social games that empower Black people, and that comes as more of a kind of exercise of what could Black people, or young Black children, or whatever, or kids, or young adults, and all this kind of stuff. What could they be doing with their TikTok time or their social time that's actually more constructive or more beneficial? And obviously be able to tackle the biracial people feel diminished by promotion of Black love. But one thing I want to show, here's a rough idea. I just quickly came up with it 10 minutes ago, so I just threw it together. It's still very bad, right? But and obviously we're just discussing here ideas, right? But maybe what we could do, right? Tell the young kids, right, or maybe someone else. An idea is, what if you were to go and find a Black business as a kid, a TikToker, right? And you find a Black business. And then you've got maybe a budget of £5, £10, whatever, I don't know, right? And then you go out and you try to find the first Black couple. And then when you see the first Black couple, you go, oh, you're practicing Black love, Black economics, you win £5. You have to now go spend your £5 in the Black business. And then you could TikTok the thing and follow them around and all that. Would that be more constructive? Any ideas, you guys, of how you could actually invent social TikTok games, more so games than pranks, whatever, to empower Black people? Obviously, I just thought of one off top of the fly, a concept where you find a Black business, you walk outside the Black business, a couple 50 yards, whatever, looking for Black couples, smiling, holding hands. We got a picture of two fantastic Black couples, and then because they are together, they win a prize. That's right, only for the Black couples. That also connects to our next topic. You give them their £5 or whatever it is, or £10 or whatever, and then you follow them. Look, you've now won for being a Black couple. Go and spend your £10 in the Black business and buy your product, and know that they'll buy the shampoo or the cap or the glass, whatever the business is that you promote at the time. Right there, a TikTok game. Anyone out there, let us know. Yes, it'll be great. TikTok trend. Yep, there you go. TikTok trend, of course. Like trying to actually rather than angry and calling the guy a buffoon, this kind of stuff. Maybe we can come up with ideas. Now, the thing is, we're well aware, we're not stupid. We understand that controversy sells, you know. And to that, I say this. One of the most controversial things I've ever done that's got me the most heat and the most anger is the promotion of Black love. I can assure you. It is very dangerous. It is very controversial. And it is very risky. So if you TikTokers want very risky things, if you promote Black love, I can assure you, that kind of unwanted hate that makes clicks go through, you'll get millions. So maybe that might be the idea. Also, funny enough, when people try to promote Black businesses, I've noticed also that sometimes brings hate as well. So maybe it's actually controversial in the right kind of way. Maybe rather than jumping over Jewish people and breaking into European people's houses, whatever, yeah, maybe you could promote Black businesses and Black love. And, and then you're going to get your unwanted ticks or TikToks or whatever it is, the controversial element. And then there you go. You'll be on shows go, why are you promoting Black love for? Don't you think that's divisive? Why are you promoting Black business? And then you go, no. And then you have your wanted controversy. Who knows? Just an idea, but maybe I'm wrong. I usually am in some cases. So if you guys got any ideas, let us know. Speaking of social network, before we move on, whatever, I did say. We're gonna start promoting like posts on Instagram. I mean, we haven't posted anything because we're just not doing it yet. But one idea, obviously, we're in the Black Love campaign. So one thing I was thinking is maybe I'm going to do some designs of a whole lot of different black families, whatever. And we have black love, and then obviously, the quote, the famous Black Betterment quote: "A constructive black man with constructive black woman makes a constructive black family." And this with the black love, and then we'll have other ones like black economics and black ownership. You name it. But this is an idea I'm thinking of getting a whole. But the thing is, to try to get a hold of the black pictures now, you have to really go digging. But what do you think of an idea like this on social network, where we post a few of these, hashtag it up? Hopefully, you guys will share it. Just because the actual Instagram page hasn't posted nothing. What we post is stories about this show being live, and we should start posting definitely black economics and black love. Very important stuff, as you know. Blah blah blah. So here's an idea. Let's see. Let's read some of the thingies. Mystery diminished. How like the ultimate something else there. TikTok. Enjoy watching them. Cool. That's actually a good point. Brother Kel is joining the thing. Well, this thing black looks okay. I don't know. Here we go. Welcome, Brother Kel. How's it going?
Welcome, brother Raven. I've got to give big up to you, brother, man. This is amazing. This is going to cause controversial, but we don't care. We like it. That's how we like it.
There you go. So what we're going to be doing is I'm gonna make a couple. I'm gonna try to make as many as possible, as many black love pictures as possible, and then periodically post them with hashtag black love, black betterment, and hopefully we can get behind this, guys. I also want to know of how to promote the black economics. So obviously there's going to be black economics. There'll be generic black pictures of black people working together. But what quotation should we use? So for black love, we're using a constructive black man with constructive black woman makes a constructive black family. But what quotation should we use for black economics? Is it each one teach one, or circulate the black pound? I don't know. If any ideas, let us know, because what you say is what we do. We're working together. It's a teamwork. I tried to invite the sister to the show, who was not best pleased. And she was, you guys, you haven't posted nothing. And the thing we were trying to say is actually, we're not in competition with black people. We're here to collaborate. So if you feel there's anything we're doing not good enough, you can always jump in and on board and help. But you tend to find there's many black people out there, unfortunately. The whole thing is controversial and causing issues, whatever. Welcome, Lady Divine, to Black Betterment, to yourself, Lady Divine.
Oh, big up, brother Raven. Big up, Cal.
Big up, son, sister. Big up.
There you go. So, welcome to the show. So, what we're doing, well, currently is talking about social trends and ideas. First thing that we will be able to do from the Black Betterment Broadcast Instagram, but also maybe ideas that these young TikTokers could do so they're not trespassing in people's houses and jumping over Jewish people, whatever it is, and going on TV and making a complete, a spectacle of themselves, whatever. Right. So we're trying to think as a community, what could we push forward? Big up, Brother Dominic. He's saying ownership could be one. So black ownership. How would we present black ownership? So in the form of a social post, what do we show? We have to show something and say something. So how these posts work is we show a visual. We have the word black ownership or black economics or black love. And then we have a small description. So here's the example of the black love. We have a picture of obviously a fantastic black family. And then the quote black love, and then we have a constructive black family a constructive black man, constructive black woman, that's a constructive black family. So in your homework, think of how we could do that for black ownership and black economics. And in the meantime, while you're thinking of how we can do that for next week, I'll make a whole load of these, and then I'll be posting them through the week, and hopefully you guys can share it, and then we can think of how we want to approach black economics and black ownership. Is there any? Let me go to the thing. Is anything you guys want to talk about at all in regards to can we invoke social games that empower black people? But let's also talk about, if you wish, you can talk about the young gentleman who's been arrested for the TikTok stuff, and then also do black biracial people feel diminished by the promotion of black love? For those who don't know what that is, what we're gonna do before joining late, let me show you the video that was posted by a conservative black lady, or a biracial black lady, who goes on TV and speaks her mind. But this one she posted. Hold on. Let's rewind.
I'm a bit tired of certain racial conversations, right? And growing up, even now to be honest, the majority of my friends are black women. Dark skin to be specific. So when they used to talk about black men dating outside of their race more than any other group. I would empathize, I would listen, I'd understand. I'd get it. But when people actually ask me, do you think black men should date outside of their race? And give me examples like this one, yeah? Like, bruh, I'm a product of interracial marriage. Like, what do you want me to say? The moment I speak against black men or anyone dating outside their race, I'm essentially against there being mixed race individuals like myself. Like, do people not think about the impact? I'm not saying we're victims, mixed race people, but every time people speak against interracial relationships, they're speaking against us as mixed race people.
Very dangerous kind of way of thinking.
Wow.
Yeah.
Very
Yeah.
dangerous. And once again, we try to be merciful and nice to people, and if they're going through shortcomings, we want to hear it. But I definitely, you fundamentally have demonized the very core basis of the black community of how to exist and what to promote. And I spoke to her, I won't read it again, but we had like a epic back and forth on her page. And what we were saying is historically, all one black parent people have always been included in the black community and can practice black love and all the other stuff. I think something we have to address as well is why is there so much emphasis on black people holding the heavy load? And that's something you have to understand. If a person has gone into another community, should the other community who might be in a superior position have to hold the heavy load in any of those challenges? That's something we should think about. Especially if we're going to have to then compromise a fundamental of black love, which I think might be the most important trope in black empowerment. I think it might actually be the most important, but that could be wrong. So anyway, so those are the two topics of family. We are joined, of course, by Empress Christy. Welcome to Black Betterment, Empress Christy. Black Betterment to yourself.
Black Betterment family.
Son, sister, Kushti.
Evening,
Big up.
sissy. Evening, family.
Big up.
So we are joined
Wow.
as a
What a
guest.
topic, bro.
One topic, yeah. So which one? So because we have guests, I'll let you guys lead. Whatever you want to talk or discuss or bring up, let us know and we'll just go with it. It's up to you guys.
The interracial thing for me is deep. Who's going first? Yeah, she said that. Whoa, she's weaponized our team. Wicked.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was. I just think I don't even know where to start with this one. I just don't understand because I think she was in that UK. Is it UK and Black?
Yes.
Series. She was on that, which was, but classing herself as a mixed race person. So she doesn't refer to herself as black. That's what we were saying the last time we was commenting on this on another panel. And now she's confirmed it because now she's saying that, and this is the problem, right? Because like you said about what you're starting to see about the onus is on the black people, because black people are wrong if they call out the intricacies and the different approaches we see, like what she's given an example for, but then some of them will go around and say this, where she doesn't even, because I think this one blows my mind because she doesn't even identify as black clearly, because she said, this is why that's why I'm so quiet, because when sis said wow, that's what I think, because she started off saying I have black female friends, dark skins to be specific. Then she says that if you talk about interracial love, you're cancelling me out. So she doesn't even, because I've always gone by the rule as if you are one black parent, but you believe yourself as black, you're in the fold, right? That's normally like the consensus. But this woman is saying, I am not black. And she still feels,
and your promotion of black love is anti-me. That's what she's essentially saying. You're anti-me by promoting
anti-me.
Wow.
She's saying that it's offensive. But then she feels that she still has the right to assert herself in a black conversation. And this is what I mean. It's the pick and choose of when you are black and when you think that you can have the privilege to talk on black things. And it's always to confuse. It's just a bunch of confusion.
It is.
Because you're not black, but you feel the need to talk about black love and talk about how it's offensive to you. And then like you said, all the while, the white parents not getting mentioned. This confusion, this problem, this wahala, this aggro is not going to that side. So yeah, it's
this lady, I believe her dad is somewhere in the Caribbean, and her mum is an Asian Caribbean person. As far as I'm aware. Now she did say, one of the things she says, why do you keep bringing up rape and slavery as if to connect us mixed race people existence to rape? Most of us now are not here because of rape, so stop talking about it. So this was me talking about Hans Redemption, this kind of stuff.
Wow.
And she really jumped in. Welcome, Sankofa Rising. Welcome, sister.
Welcome,
Sankofa. Oh my god.
John, sister Sankofa, big up, sis.
Greetings, family. Rise up, panel. Rise up, brother Raven.
There you go.
Rise up, brother Kel, and
yes, John, sister.
goddesses, them, Empress Kush, Lady Divine.
Come on, queen. Big up yourself.
Rise up the chat. I can't see the chat at the moment, but rise up, everybody. But yeah, sorry, as you were.
So one thing I think we want to do is try to highlight the patterns. So I noticed that what she does is she'll go on and talk about black fathers who are not in the house and this kind of stuff. And then she's comfortable. When I'm talking about getting the black fathers in the house and economics and stuff, she's telling me things like black people, it's a social construct made by Europe. She says, look, black Betterment won't work because the ideology of black race was made by Europeans. Your idea has its foundations in struggle. Trying to group all people together in certain skin color together when there's tribes that look similar but don't even like each other and have the same beliefs. Other groups are bound by historical religion, culture, and class. That's why there's not such thing as the black community. You need to start somewhere where race isn't the precursor or the prerequisite. So she's saying if you want to have any kind of solution, it cannot be ethnically or race-based, right? But she does a lot of race-based talking, which is interesting. So, and this is what I found in my speaker's corner today. That when it comes to mistreating black people or highlighting the suffering or the failure of black people, we are allowed to say black, we're allowed to say African, we're allowed to say these words. But when it comes to actually come together to have a solution for it, this is forbidden, this is wrong, this is a social construct, And then when you say, well, white people seem to be very good with this social construct because they use this word and they seem to know how to work well as white people towards their own agenda, then it's silence. I get that a lot when I either talk to people about this stuff or I invite them to discuss, then they stop speaking after they've given their spiel about you're never going to work, black people can never get together, you guys don't exist, this kind of stuff, right? Which is making me think, is this some kind of strategy? Is there something they're missing? I don't know.
Brother Raven.
Sorry, bro. Go ahead.
No, go on, sis.
You haven't spoken, but I was just going to say the conspiracy theory in me is just saying that, with the landscape of where Britain's looking right now, the infighting of this could be just the starting of, that
more
kind
to
of,
come. I hear you, sis. Yeah.
But go ahead, brother Cal.
Yeah, I was going to say, brother, the strategy with the biracial Africans is that you don't want to attack the identity, more attack the oppression, what the other side is doing. That's how you trap them. And then obviously it's unsynchronized. And then you break down the steps of, for example, what it leads to when you are having one foot in, one foot out. But always focus on the oppression side. They will never be able to defeat the synchronized African if you go more for the oppression. If you go for the identity, they can say, well, I got both and both. And then you'll see them fall and crumble. Because in actuality, and that it's very selfish, because there is an oppressed and there's an oppressor. And by definition of mindset that you're supposed to help the ones who are oppressed. So if you keep attacking that, highlighting that, they'll start to crumble eventually in that, but never attack the identity because it's their stronger point. They can always hide in.
But here, can I just put something on the table here? Do you mind?
Of course.
So I'm going to say this, right? I don't see anybody having a problem with white people promoting white on white love, yeah? We see adverts all day long up and down the TV, all across the internet, promoting husband, wife, and 2.5 kids and their nuclear families. Nobody ever blinks an eye whenever we're seeing this consistently pumped, psychologically pumped into our brains. But as soon as somebody hears, you know, I'm for black man, black woman, black child, all of a sudden it's an uproar. And I just don't, I can't get my head around it. I don't understand what's the problem. So it's not okay for me to have that's my holy trinity, black man, black woman, black child, and I can't go around promoting my thing without it seen as, oh, I have to be anti everything else. No, I'm just for me and my people and what I want my children to continue doing, and my great grandchildren and my great and all the ones to come. I would hopefully want them to, you know, keep doing what I instilled in them. So why is it a problem when we want to promote black love and we want to, you know, push our, I guess, you know, our thing of promoting black couples and healthy black families? Now I've got to be anti something, but when everybody else promotes their families, it's not a problem. No one bats an eyelid. Nobody says anything. It can run. It's crazy.
This might be controversial, but should we market black love as very controversial? Like, should that be like, you know, we're playing with that idea just to start a discussion? Because ultimately everyone knows it's not, right? But it seems to always come out in a way where it's a bad thing, you know, and usually how they do it is by including other people groups, right? And that shows that shows that even in your own community, your own agenda and your own needs are second. You see?
Yeah, it's very good because it's very intriguing as well to start the conversation, and then you'll be able to categorize the black people who have a problem with it and the black people who don't, and then you can always put them in that category of, oh, you have a problem with black love. So it's very, very catchy, you know. However, the black woman, what they need, the darker skinned black woman, when they're dealing with the lighter skinned black woman who has biracial, they need to use the femininity historical that, you know, you were put onto us. You know what I mean? We had to look after, and if you keep doing that, and that will tap into the biracial African descendant females maternal thing, to know that we were put onto you, and that, because it's oppression again. You understand what I'm saying, brother? You've got to keep hammering that particular side of, you know, we were being oppressed by the other side. This is what happened. They didn't want you. We had to take you. What about how we felt about that? If you keep doing that and keep doing that, and then making the non-African side be very bad and things like that, then you can trap them that way. With many of the biracial Africa, that's what I always says, that whenever they identify with the mixed race, it's very deceptive. If they don't identify with the African and showing the signs, then other than that, it's deceptive, and you see all the time, you know. So yeah,
I think the other lady, I forgot her name, shame on me, but there's another lady who they seem to be very good friends as well, and she always goes on a channel called GB or something like this. And I remember when the brother from the Star Wars, who's the Nigerian original Obi-Wan Kenobi, I don't know, he's what's a Boyaya boy. I forget his name because it's a bad name. Yeah. But when he was doing the correct thing of saying he loves black women, her friend was on one of these channels, obviously not best pleased, and saying, you know, you shouldn't have a black people shouldn't have a preference. They should go for anyone, whatever. And she's a byproduct of that. And this is something that we need to have strategies to really tackle very quickly, because I would hate for black people to feel intimidated to promote black love because of this kind of new strategy that everyone must love everyone. It's very peculiar.
I think for me, what's the most frustrating for me is just the lack of, I think these kinds of things, it proves the argument for gatekeeping. Because she will be, like you said, on certain shows and be a representative. If something happens to a black person now, or a black child, or they're having a discussion, she's been chosen to go on talk as a black perspective or a black narrative. We already know that she's going to definitely lean towards the right or whatever, she's not going to lean towards the more codified in side. And she's going to be a black representative. But any time she's talking to black people, she's happy to take on the black role when it comes to white media. But when she's talking to black people, what I've noticed, she refers to herself as mixed race.
Yeah.
And this is becoming a problem because for the white media, you are saying everything, talking like you're black. White people will use her as a reference, say, well, she's black. And then if you turn around and say, well, she's this or she's that, you're like, oh, now you look wrong.
You're not keeping her in the black
Exactly.
race. Yeah, we're kicking her out. Yeah.
And then meanwhile, it's just causing more trouble. The true black voice hasn't been heard. The true black face is now not being seen. And this is why it just proves more argument for like safeguarding to me.
Yeah, I agree.
Because, it's just, you can't be doing that because she's literally been on a show called Black and UK. And now she's talking about she's not black. And stop promoting black love. Something that is fundamental. Like if you stop promoting black, if there's no black love, there is no, you know what I mean?
There's no black community. We're finished.
Well, this is what I mean.
We're finished, sis.
Because like there couldn't be a half Jewish or half black boy, female, go to the Jewish community and say these things.
Yeah. No, you're right.
Because Brother Raven, what's very interesting with the biracial Africans as well is that we have a list of what will be classed as biracial, who had African ancestry and still helped out Europeans, Asians. So Mahatma Gandhi, he had Ethiopian ancestry, and you know how he felt about African people. Ed J. Hoover, African ancestry, and you know what he did? Brought down the UNIA and the Black Panthers, etc. Big up to you, sister. Thomas Jefferson, mixed ancestry of the President of America. Andrew Jackson, Abraham Lincoln, Warren Harding, Calvin Coolidge. These are all who had African ancestry, and they all went against African people. So as long as we've got this blueprint and knowledge to use on the biracial Africans to say that you can help out the oppressed because it's been done by the opposite side. You just got to keep trapping them. The more you trap, if you want, it's
interesting because I think this Ham's redemption thing that I've been quoting a lot is very effective. Where you're highlighting European strategies to destroy black people through the process of forcing black people to marry non-black people and limiting the progress of black people who don't do it. And that's where we're saying, well, we've highlighted what anti-black racists have done to black people. And usually when I talk in these kind of circles and I use that, it usually just kind of qualifies it and ends the conversation because we're constantly highlighting that we are not the aggressors, we are the victims of this aggression, and we recognize that because of the existence of such doctrines, we know the way to actually fight is become constructive and find a constructive black woman or black man if you're a black woman. So I think using these historical terms, because they can be Googled, and if you just Google Ham's redemption and read Wikipedia, it is quite devastating. What not only was actually done, but is continued to be done. And we know there's a history of that. So I think using the European or anti-black racists' own doctrines against them and saying, well, we don't really want to participate in that behavior because we understand why it was done and how it doesn't benefit black people. Yeah,
I agree.
And maybe I'll start doing some campaigns with it. But let me take up this thing. So maybe I might do a couple posts with the picture of Ham's redemption and information. Maybe that might be a good idea to do posts where you have information of attempts to destroy black people.
Bro, it's so like I've been going down a rabbit hole with this as well, and it is really devastating. I think even for myself, you say things, but you don't really realize how many times this is played out. I'll send a video just in case you want to do a follow on to this. And they were talking it from the island's point of view. So we're talking about Dominica, Haiti, Puerto Rico. and talking about colorism, and they were all agreeing that there was this thing, except for the Haitians, because obviously they're French. They were all talking about there's this word, it's similar like majdiv, and it's the equivalent of hams.
Oh, yeah.
And it's so scary, right? So then they've got their own, and then they've even, this one's a really honest one. I think it'll be a good one for you to show. Actually, you need to blackify it, of course, but I think it'll be really good because they were really honest, and they started saying that, you know, all of us have heard the something. They say it in Spanish and in their subtitles, which basically says, you know, better the race.
Improve the race, better the race. Yes.
Yeah, and there's still there's still reminiscences of that. Them saying that to now. Now, bro, 2023. And it just flashed me back to what you was telling us about Argentina, because it was similar, wasn't it? The better scary, this thing that is in life. And when the guy from Haiti was talking, he was just saying that, you know, although they slaughtered all of their because as well, the same kind of thing that happened that you showed us in Argentina happened in those countries as well. So they've got like mulatto, Melito, like, you know, the breakdowns that you had in Argentina, they had the same version.
Of course.
And it's just crazy. And the Haitian guy said that, you know, although that they killed all of those people, so who would have been children of either enslaved persons and the slave master, they slaughtered all of those people. But there's still now traces, what he was saying, where they have this buffer class in Haiti, and they're all of mixed descent, and they only marry other mixed. Like, it's just a known thing. Like, it's not even like they only, so they're, because people say, well, won't that change? Don't they get white? And he goes, no, like, it's actually crazy. They don't do anything else, just only other mixed race. And these things are currently happening, but people are not, thank God they're openly having these kind of conversations, because they are a part of our diaspora. They're going through the same things. And like you said, I don't think people link that this is all kind of happening at the same time. We might not be where they are, but when you can have someone who is now clearly of mixed heritage, but stepping herself away from black, you know, and talking as a race of, it's like they're trying to collect their own race of the mixed race voice or the mixed race experience. And, you know, there's a definite feel of separation, right, which is mimicking what you've shown us in Argentina, what's happening in the islands. So yeah, it's interesting to have kind of a world view on it and just see that there is a collective mindset happening that's affecting black people, and it's an uncomfortable conversation to be had, but if it's not had with, there's clear traces of what it can turn into.
Thanks for that.
Do you know there's another part to that argument though, sis? Yeah, just to be fair on the mixed race people, because I have seen it's gaining traction on TikTok at the moment, and that's the oh, sorry to cut you, Brother Raven. I just heard you. Sorry.
Go ahead.
Yeah. Oh, sorry, but yeah, it's just that there's a movement now I'm seeing of mixed race kids are actually coming out and making TikTok videos speaking against mixed relationships. Yeah, they actually resent the fact that they have white mothers and saying that the white mothers couldn't cater to their needs. So yeah, that might be something we might have to talk about in the future as well, Raven. Yeah,
we'll definitely approach that. I mean, one thing I was saying is, what we tried to highlight is historically the two major ways of destroying black people, and we can say Ham's Redemption is one, right? And then obviously it's different names called Black Mental, Whitening, and all these other improve the race, but it's the same process. And then obviously the other one was apartheid or Jim Crow. And then what happens is people, because they went through Jim Crow or apartheid, they don't think that now the next step is that they're going to use Ham's Redemption or racial whitening as a strategy, because they thought, well, they spent so long trying to separate us that they would never want to actually use the breeding as a method to take away economic power and positioning. But when we see in the UK, this seems to be the strategy. I was actually talking to I suspect he's an anti-black racist person in some kind of crime forum, but he wasn't best pleased about I think there was a black man who murdered a white woman who they were dating, and which is terrible. And I think he was saying, I tried to warn white women about these kind of men, blah blah blah. And I was talking to him, and but it's just interesting, because obviously we're not going to invite them on the show. But I'm thinking, at one point, would there be any value in picking the brains of white people who don't want black people to integrate in their community, right? And seeing what those fears might be, and how they're at odds with this kind of racial whitening technique of actually, gradually turning black people white and this kind of stuff, right? So it'll be interesting at some point to do some case study on those guys. I don't know if we should invite them to the show because it's an all black show, but we decide how we want to run it.
It's a good idea, Brother Raven. The only thing is that the best advice is not to allow black people on at the same time.
Yeah, I hear that.
Because of the dopamines of surviving, that we need to convince the Iceman that what he's saying is incorrect because of Virginia loving, etc. So it's good because we need to kind of hear, the reality of how they feel about us and, why, etc. And that it'd be not good to let black people on there, brother, because they will defend, destroy everything, and say all ridiculous things, etc. And then he'll get away with how they really feel about interracial relationships.
So for those who don't know about black mental, racial whitening, or Ham's redemption, if you Google these terms, you get it. And ultimately, it is a historical practice where Europeans are trying to destroy black biology, denigrate and destroy black people's family, phenotype, and biology, destroy black economics, denigrate and destroy black people's economics and self-reliance, and destroy black culture, denigrate and destroy black people's culture and identity. That's what it actually is. Like, this is an actual strategy that happened in the Spanish-speaking countries, but also in the Anglo, maybe like in Australia, these kind of places. And what we're saying is we're trying to connect the dots. Like, we're realizing that this is going on in the UK, but it obviously has been marketed as, because back in the old days, because you could openly just mistreat black people, you could actually announce, here's what we're doing as an actual political thing, and then people would support it, and it would be part of, because when they say Ham's redemption, just to make that understand, they use Bible terms, and they say that Ham, this is what they say, are actually black people or Africans. And when they say redemption, what they're saying is the only way for a black person to redeem themselves is to not exist. And the most just way to make a black person not exist isn't to try to kill them in one go, but they tried in South Africa, but actually to force them to marry low-level white people. And then through the process of breeding and this kind of stuff, maybe after 2 to 4 generations, the people produced will no longer be perceived as black, so you can then start fresh with them. And then obviously those people can be the owners of anything that's accrued to black people because they can now claim to be the descendants of black people, this kind of stuff, right? So this is a strategy that is very successful in Argentina, and it's quite successful in Brazil, and throughout the whole of, I guess, the Spanish-speaking world. But we're now seeing it in Anglo-speaking places and also definitely Portuguese-speaking places. So what we're saying is we should potentially use these as methods to promote black love, to say, well, we don't really want that to happen to our community because that's not cool. It's not cool, is it, really? But we are seeing that. And I guess that's when we start the show with a video about LeBron James and his son taking a European lady to the prom, and then people not being best pleased because of Ham's redemption. And then obviously this biracial African lady saying, oh, when you speak against mixed relationships, you're speaking against my existence, which is a weaponizing of words and stuff, which I don't know why. Well, I do know why we're doing it. And I think what a lot of people want to do is exist in a kind of like a no rule kind of paradigm, where have no rules, don't identify any race or anything like that, and everything will fix themselves. What I've learned through just studying stuff, that is exactly how black people will be destroyed. If you do not identify as black, if you do not try to come together with other black people and actually do things, i.e. own stuff, create industry, support black love, support black economics and black ownership. If you don't willingly, with awareness, do that, the opposite will happen. And we're seeing that because they've successfully demonized the concept of black business, black ownership, black love. And I think this is part of that process. Now, when it comes to mistreating the people, the best way to do it is to get them to do this automatically, like in the back of the mind. So I suspect a lot of these people who's coming out, I would like to think that they've been conditioned and trained to think like that. It isn't something that's actually deliberately malice or they're trying to actually destroy our own community. I would like to think that, but however, I don't know.
I hear you. I hear you.
Sorry, sis. I was just gonna say, but she's quite educated, right? She
Yes.
talks, so she's quite, and she speaks on black issues again. So you talk like you're quite learned in black history. So, like you said, you know, you'd like to think that it's not done purposely, but then you turn around and actively say, I've got black, dark-skinned female friends, and promoting black love is a problem for me. And this is what I'm saying about the confusion, bro. Do you know what I mean? Like, no other race has to worry about this.
No, it's
And
interesting
it's such
because
a delaying tactic. It's such a, it's a delay of progress.
But the thing is,
yeah,
she, I could be wrong. If I'm wrong, correct me, everyone. But I think she was first seen on a kind of scene because she's good friends with a lady called ZZ Mills, who's doing quite well. And she's actually really good in the fact she promotes black love and black economics. So 10 points to her. But I think they became semi kind of on the news because I think they went to some kind of high European white kind of club party shindig something, and they weren't allowed in because they were black women, and they were on the news for this. This is the first time I was aware of them, you know, and then from that they did their own thing. So it's interesting that how she became on TV was through the process of being mistreated by being identified as black.
You know what, Brother Raven? One of my heroes, which is very known, is W.E. Du Bois. He's the father of the bourgeoisies, right? And he was very educated. He was responsible for half of the Pan-Africanist Congress that we've had. But at the same time, he also had difficulties with balancing his intellectual tendency and dopamines towards the hierarchy or color hierarchy of, although I am of a biracial background, it doesn't mean that I am better than, you know, the non-biracial Africans. And obviously he was the rival of the Honorable Marcus Garvey. The point is that there's a benefit of Dedan Kimathi, who is was a revolution in Kenya. And one of the advices in his autobiography, I advise people to try and get it, is beware of the narcissistic intellectuals. Because the narcissistic intellectuals, when you listen to them, they say all these great vernaculars, all these algorithms and great speech, but behind it, there is unsynchronization. And we can be under a spell by that, is that you can have all the education you want. As I said, one of our heroes, W.E. Du Bois, had all the education, but still went against the Honorable Marcus Garvey nationalism. So every scenario our ancestors dealt with, we should use the blueprint.
I
if
agree.
that makes any sense.
It does. One thing we were covering a few weeks back. First of all, every person on this page is to be beloved for the work they put in. But what we were observing as a case study is the kind of quotations that non-black people quote and the kind of quotations that non-black people never will touch, right? And that's what I'm saying, that when we're doing stuff, the optics of what we're saying is important. If we keep leading with, you know, kumbaya, everyone's equal, this kind of stuff, that's what they're going to use. Because once again, you're seeing that actually them benefiting is the interest, right? So when you look at this piece of data here, you realize that the W.E. Du Bois, he had one quote: "I believe that all men, black, brown, and white, are brothers." So that's a quote that they're gonna use. But you have Marcus Messiah Garvey saying, "African for the Africans at home and abroad." You see, so it's like, how can we use words to be completely connected and synchronized with black people, where it can't be used as a method to promote us not being synchronized with other black people? Because that's the goal. You know, how how do we? I think this word awareness is important. Me
It has
personally,
to
right?
be as raw as possible.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
there's no messing about. As
yeah,
clear
yeah,
as possible.
yeah,
You know, like just like how they did in the 70s, black power, black love, you know,
yeah,
like not messing
yes.
about. That's why they hate that era.
Hmm.
That's
Each
why
Yeah,
one,
they hate
teach
that
one.
era.
yes,
Come
they did.
on, come
They
on.
Yep,
hate
yep,
that
yep,
era
yep.
because that era was unapologetic, you know.
I'm glad you
You
said
can't
that.
rebrand that era as well. No matter how much
But
they've
that should
tried, you
be,
can't
sis, sorry
rebrand.
to cut you. That should be our thing then.
Hmm.
Unapologetically African. Stay with
Hmm.
that. Don't fix what's not broken. We're
Yeah, no,
unapologetic African, and that should be what is promoted.
without question. Now, when we start the show, this is the 141st show, and we've always started this. We've said Black Betterment is what is Black Betterment? Black people helping Black people on Black issues for betterment. So what we're saying is Black people helping Black people on Black issues for betterment. Yeah, that way we know that if ever other people groups are including that, it's got nothing to do with Black betterment, and we can summarize, we can put that up as a lifestyle, being very clear. And that's why when I go on these other kind of universal kumbaya kind of panels, I'm very clear to say no. Black betterment is self-determination. You see, once you start including non-Black people, it's another thing. And that's why I've always used the vegan example as a very powerful one, where it's like, you can help millions of animals in the world, but once you start eating sharks or whatever, you're not a vegan. Yeah, and it's like Black Betterment. It is within the community solution base, right? Very important. And I think that awareness and that open discussion is important. And that's why we then ask the questions: what are your views on Black love? And what are your views on Black economics? You see, because sometimes with the sister in this particular piece we're watching, they will stand next to you for a long time, but they don't really believe the same thing you believe. If anything, they believe the opposite, and then they'll use their political connections to promote that, whilst they'll be representing Black people, and this could be very damaging. Uh, you know.
Because black struggle is a commodity. Unfortunately, we forget that. You know what
Yes,
I mean?
very
So
true.
restricting that is very important.
Very true. And I think Brother Kel did mention a few weeks by certain processes that people might need to be checked in the sense of if you're obviously married in an interracial relationship, or you've been adopted by non-Black people, or you've obviously you have a one non-Black parent, whatever it is, then we have to make sure that when you join any kind of Black Betterment collective initiative, you're not going to try to push it away from fixing Black issues. This is
Yeah,
very
exactly. It's very
yeah.
important.
It
Because
has
if you turn back to selfishness, brother, right? The unsynchronized African descendant, the core issue of it is individualism, selfishness. You know what I mean? I don't want to think about the collective. I feel I should do this now. So long as we can tackle I feel, then you can always defeat them. Because that's all it is.
yes.
My way. Forget the collective way. You know what I mean?
So for those who are joining us now, we were looking at two topics, but one of them was about a young Black gentleman who's been arrested for doing shenanigans of jumping over Jewish people and breaking into white people's houses and this kind of stuff. And we don't obviously support this behavior at all. But what we're saying is, rather than just spend the whole time demonizing, we could actually Europeanize him or whatever. We could actually basically come up with ideas for the youth, or just for anyone in general, of ideas they could do for their TikTok and these social things. One idea I pushed together a few half an hour ago was, what if we have Black businesses? So a TikToker goes, finds a Black business, and then as soon as they find a Black business, they leave the Black business with £5, £10, this kind of thing, and they try to look for Black couples, Black man, Black woman, and when they find one, they I've asked some questions about their relationship or whatever it is, and then they win money to go spend in that Black business. Now the thing is, this doesn't. What you have to understand is a lot of these TikTokers, by jumping over Jewish people and breaking into European houses, whatever. This is very controversial stuff, and controversial stuff is very clickbait, and that's essentially what they want to be famous. So we're thinking maybe if we are marketing Black love and Black business as very dangerous and edgy, as it actually is, because the most threats I've ever get is when I promote Black love. So maybe it works hand in hand.
Yeah.
You know?
I was,
Like, what do you say, sister?
no, greetings. I just wanted to jump on the back of what Kel said in terms of that individualism and that cancer. You're correct. She did come into the community. She did become known to the world, I should say, from her racist experience of trying to get in this high-end club or whatever. Her and ZZ Mills or whatever. Word on the grapevine is that them two are not really chatting again, so it might be where she's going at the moment. And that's the other thing, is that there is a growing rise of firstly wanting to be seen and likes and fame and all that. That's a disease in and of itself right now. And there is this growing trend now of Black conservatism that's being propped up by the oppressor to carry on discord and disunity and all of the things that you lot are speaking about. And I suppose our work is shining the light on their inconsistency. Because I do always sometimes wonder, you know, how W.E.B. Du Bois would have fared in this time or in the 60s. Do you get what I'm saying? Same thing. And even he got to a certain point because he ended up in Ghana. So, you know, they will end up showing their hand at some point. It's about how we build up our analysis, as Kel always says, our political and scientific education around what we're meant to be looking at. But individualism is a disease. And that whole universalism, kumbaya business, that's what the education system and university is for. And just to touch on the young people, I definitely think the issue right now, we're seeing young people who have nothing to do. We're seeing young people that went through 2 years of COVID. We're seeing young people that are just consistently criminalized on every level, even in their supposed safe spaces of school. Do you understand? The system is, our children are really struggling in the system. And I mean, on many different levels. This is not well, this child's got behavioral problems, so that's why that's happening. I mean, like, there's a lot of stresses within the education system, within their homes, their family homes, but all the agencies that are attached to their family homes. There is a lot going on with children in our community right now, and we're not answering the needs quick enough. We're not answering the needs quick enough. So yeah, there's been a major crisis with our children right now. So where a young person like that young man doing what he's doing, he's the one that's just got the most likes at the moment. But there's a lot of our young people doing some very wild stuff outside on these streets. Do you get what I'm saying? So yeah.
No, I think this is saying on that. I think as a Black community, we still have, well, most of us still have that old school thing of, you know, like when Crime Watch used to come on and it used to be like, oh, please don't let that one be Black. You know, like, don't embarrass us. Like we still see community. We're still tougher on our own, especially when it's public display, especially when it was that kind of tactics, going into someone's house and with the kids and all of that. It's not something that we want to favour or even publicly show any kind of sympathy for. And I understand.
I haven't seen what this young man's done, by the way. I do know I have heard that he's walking in people's stuff or taking people's dogs or whatever nonsense.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't want to see it, sis. It's terrible. You don't.
For me, the worst part of it was when he went into the house. But the taking the dog, he gives it back. So he takes the dog, runs a bit down the road, gives the dog back. And then the other was that he just does a leapfrog over a man's head, but it was a trend. And so like to me, although it's like all of it added up, it sounded terrible. It is bad. He's not the only one doing this. Like you said, it is a trend. People are leapfrogging over everyone and everything else. And listening to Sis, it just kind of showed me, especially when he said that his mum stopped speaking to him. You kind of just think like, there is nothing now. There is no net. We have nothing. We have no kind of institution to just look after him, you know, because even when he said he was remorse, because there's nothing there and we have that stance to him where, you know, you're just, you know, an embarrassment. He's left to the wolves, to someone like Piers Morgan, who, you know, okay, yes, he was bad, but did you have to call out his full government name? And then when the boy said he was remorseful, did you have to go on like, I don't think you are. Well, how do you, like, what does he have to do? Do you know what I mean? Because we forgive a lot of your people, you know, your coloured people for stuff which I know they're not remorseful for, you know. So I just think that although he done, like, I don't condemn, I don't think anything he done was great. He deserves the kind of harshness because it was wrong. But like Sis said, I don't think he's a one-off, and I think we need to start seeing that.
He definitely isn't, Sis. I'll give a little bit. I'll tell you where I stand with it. So for me, it's not even the pranks and stuff that he does, because again, as you also said, many kids have been doing this all over the TikTok. He's not the only one. It is a growing thing, and it's about attention, likes, clicks. You know what I mean? Getting trending on the For You pages and stuff. We get it. The thing that got me the most is the whole Piers Morgan thing. That's where I got peed off at. It's not the pranks that peed me off in it, because he's not the only one doing them. Is when he went onto the national TV. Come on now. National TV, you expose your family, you put it out there. So now then you got all these newspapers now writing that, you know, you come from a single parent household. The same most stereotypical connotations they always tied towards the black community. Doesn't talk to the mother, gets himself into problematic with the police, problematic with the community, putting the community at risk. Who's leading these young men? Meanwhile, you've got other brothers and sisters that go up on that very same show, fighting a good fight very intelligently, trying to fight for the likes of this little brother here. But he's gone up there and just like undone all the hard work that's been put out there, especially when it comes to dealing with the royal family. You know how they go up against, you know, Piers with his whole institution based and stuff. You know what I mean? He came and undone all of that good work, only to be trending for this madness. And this is where I would say things like Boys to Men. Where's the like brother Terry? We know he runs the, you know, Manhood Academy stuff. We need these brothers now to step in. So we can't just dash them to the side, but we need obviously like the boy camps them to jump in for the young black men like him, that we can clearly say if he doesn't get some form of direction or, you know, something from older men to put him, like, let him know, okay, we get it, we understand this is what your generation's doing, but right now you need to get focused. You can't be having careless records on your thing, be wilding out on TV thinking you're looking good, letting everyone know your household business that doesn't need to be out there. You can't be letting somebody like a Piers tie anti-Jewish sentiments to your name, because that's what he tried to do. Even though the young man clearly told him on there, listen, I've done this to many people. It's not just Jewish. Stop saying Jewish. I've done this to black people, white people, all. But you're trying to make it into an anti-Jew kind of thing. That's not what this is. Like, stop. We can see the narratives being told, but he never helped with Piers spreading those narratives, sis. Like, we got to be honest with it. He actually played into the narratives.
But this is what I'm saying, that I'm saying that because we are where we are at, he didn't have a support. So the mom, the family, because this is for me the essence of Black Betterment, and all the different things that Raven's talking about putting in place is about vetting those who want Black Betterment, but also allowing us to grow and develop, so we understand that there's work to do and get busy with some work. So like you're saying, we need a Manhood Academy to this and that and the what next, but those organizations do not press upon people. And I say that not because I'm part of it, but because I'm part of it, in a sense of I've worked with and the likes of. So I'm saying that we exist because the community comes to us. They understand the need. They understand what their child needs. Do you understand? Whether it's a parent, a family member, whatever, they sign up their children to these things. And I'm saying that obviously we here understand it, but again, it's about doing that work to unlock our minds, to make the masses understand this is what needs to be done. And it's not all about all of us sending all of our children to one place, but we all have to start developing these things. Yeah. We all have to find ways to contribute in some way, shape, or form. So everyone's skill might not be to set up a program and run it, but whatever skill set you have to contribute to it, or the ones that are existing, how you help to develop that. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I agree.
These things. And before, now this might sound disconnected, but I was listening to the last show. Had so much to say about that, but I'm not going to now. But what I will say is, when Brother Kel says he lives it, like it's not, this is Birmingham, he's just living normal every day. Blackness, yeah? I got sisters and that in Birmingham. So what he's saying is that everyone is, if there's certain black programs, it's a given. This is just what we're doing. This is normal.
Mm-hmm.
They're not looking outside of themselves to solve certain problems. Do you get what I'm saying? Now, I'm not saying that Birmingham is not no Wakanda that they're not experiencing.
Exactly. Yeah.
Experiencing, but I'm saying that they still got a level of what we might have grown up with here in London in the 80s and the 90s. They still have that energy, that closeness, that close proximity. And if you was even blessed to live like that in the 80s and 90s, for some people, let's say that. But that community, that everybody played a part, everyone knows each other. So people's children wasn't just out here. And I'm saying that up until today, 2003, there's an energy there that still exists that way. There's a sense of responsibility to everybody, and aims and attempts to fill in the gaps that, okay, we need a program for our children here, or we need a mother and baby situation, toddler service over here. And do you get what I'm saying? So so people, so less of us slip through the cracks. You get what I'm saying? So I think I'm saying all that to say there's a big jump from this young man needs some help. We can't, people obviously probably may have reached out to him by now, but I'm saying that we all have a different level of a part to play. And when we're talking about, I think I'll just say that, but I had to incorporate what Gil was saying because the way how I've always said, if about 100 of us had just moved to Birmingham with a certain mindset, yo, we locked that down in a long time. So yeah, Birmingham is going in still.
Big up. I think I tried to show a page of some of the because he's done quite a lot of things. I think people are saying is the most devastating. I think it might have been people have their own interpretation, but one of the pranks is where he'll go up to people and then saying, "Do you want to die?" And he might be wearing like a ninja kind of mask, whatever it is. And then when they run scared or whatever, then he'll say, "No, it's a dye of hair color or something."
Stupid. It's just so stupid. Like he could be endangering himself as well.
It really could. And the one that really stuck for me is when he was with three white girls, and he's touching their hair, and I'm thinking if you look at if you think of how many young boys have been killed for less historically in the Caribbean and the Americas historically, right? And
That's a fact. Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Where it's like some of these young guys out here, they're not really learning in history and what our ancestors have gone through.
They're
So
not.
really,
They're not.
and that's what we kind of have to teach them, really. But I think that one stood out for me. This concept there, this seemed, yeah, and it's just this wasn't maybe 3 weeks back where unfortunately the Liberian brother, I think it was Liberian, a young guy was shot outside because he knocked on the wrong door. You see,
Yes,
so
yes,
he didn't even
yes.
enter the house; he knocked on the wrong door, and
Mhm.
so intense is the hatred for black people there that they believe it's worthy of being killed. This kind of stuff, and I'm saying, yeah, we don't want to tempt fate. We don't want to tempt fate. We understand that there's these.
But Brother Raven, he's doing one deeper than that. I don't know if you lot have seen the other one that he had trending when he was going up to, and this is another talking point he handed to a plate on Piers, right? So that kind of pulls to my point. So he was doing this other, I think it's called the 360 challenge. I can't remember what it was. We just got to random people and you ask them, do you want to die?
Yes.
Now he's seriously putting his own life at risk because he can go up to the wrong person. They could take that as a serious thing and then just do him anything. You don't know who you're going up to. Number two, Piers is always on talking all these narratives about, young boys gang banging, hoodies, jeans, and he just played right into that. So now Piers was up there using it as a talking point, like to say, "Oh, you're going up to defenseless white women that you're target." He made it as though this youth was going out here targeting white women, like white. But if you heard the undertones to the whole conversation that was being the whole back and forth being had on that TV show, that's why I'm so more pee off with the TV show than I actually am with all the pranks. Like the undertones was so prevalent. He kept saying things like, "Oh, so you're just going up targeting white women, asking white women if they want to die." Knowing this boy's done this to many people, not that it's right. I'm not giving him no pass. That is right what he's doing, but the fact of the matter is, he did go up to many different. And this guy was arguing with him, saying to him, "No, actually, I was talking to the men, but the woman just happened to. Oh, I was actually going to the men." And he was like, "No, you're going up to defenseless white." So you can see the message, the underlying message he's trying to send out to the wider white community is, yeah, be careful. This is what these black youths do. They target our precious white women. Like, you've got to actually analyze what was being transpiring when that interview was taking place. And I was just heated. I really was.
I agree 100%. I haven't watched it, but everything you said is exactly what was happening. And for the intention that it is, but that's what I'm saying, that this young man, listen to what he's saying and what he's doing. This is of a mature, of whatever age he is, mind. Do you understand? This is a very childlike mind. Do you get what I mean? And I say that to say there's a lot. He hasn't had a level of guidance for a very long time for him to be where he is at.
Exactly.
And unfortunately, like I said, as a community, we are in somewhat of a parenting crisis. We've been there for some time now. So there's a level that, with lots of different dynamics, and like I said, there is no spaces right now for our children. In London, there is no spaces really for our children. And all they have is this device 24/7, 365.
Yeah, man. And Garvey, the advice of Garvey as well, he told us this, man. The white man's propaganda has made him a master of the world, and all those who come in contact with that media becomes his slaves. And this is what me and a couple of people were saying, that media trained for the youth. You could be a clown if you want, but as long as you are representing the collective and not falling into the traps is very important. Because Pierce did have him. Exactly what Lady D said. I was listening to it. He made it all about the defenseless ice woman, even though, as what Joseph Goebbels says, the right-hand man of Hitler accused the opposition what they're guilty of. You understand? So he was, yeah, man. It wasn't good for him, man. He wasn't good at all. Not media trained at all.
But we don't know if the little young man
nobody around
what was going on. Right. I don't think he was aware of what was
wasn't. That's the point I'm making. There's nobody around him, not one solitary sensible somebody to say, don't go on there. And that's what I'm saying, that the fact that where he's at,
he will go on there because you can see by him and his friends, clicks is what they desire. So the idea, how can they convert what's happening, because they've been banned from all the social stuff. So they're going to try to, and I think Sister Cushy said he's been arrested again for violating parole or whatever. So the thing is, the clicks is what's most valuable to them. But before we move on, I just want to say that something we'll be aware of as well is obviously the resentment or fury amongst many white people or conservative white people who really want to, who feel that they can't use the correct language or they can't go against what they say is, black people. But what you find is a lot of people with a history of anti-black racism. But also new words will start coming out. And I was listening to this guy, I don't know if you mentioned it, but there was something he said, which I don't know if it's a double entendre or some kind of like this. But so basically, he's complaining about the reason why black kids can do this is because white people are scared to confront them because they'll be called racist. And this is a new narrative. Well, not a new narrative. It's a narrative that's quite prominent now amongst many conservative kind of white YouTubers or whatever it is. But let's just listen to a bit of him. But it's not been blackified, sorry, but I'll just put it there.
He's been told Western societies have spent the last few years indoctrinating everyone that black lives matter, but white lives don't. And if you say they do, that's a hate crime. And also that whiteness must be abolished. There's this constant narrative that reparations are due, that white people owe black people for the sins of their ancestors. Looting during BLM protests was widely excused as some sort of bizarre compensation. And if anyone challenges this rhetoric, they're committing a hate crime. We have a two-tier police system because of something called protected characteristics. These are things like gender, race, sexuality, etc. Protected characteristics are supposed to protect racial or sexual minorities from being victimized just because they're black or pansexual or transgender, or in the case of the surprisingly feminine Mizzy, all three. It sounds like a good idea, but in reality, protected characteristics mean exactly that. The police protect those people. This is why BLM marches were allowed to go ahead during lockdown, but anti-lockdown marches were cracked down on. If any of Mizzy's victims fought back, the police would immediately assume they were committing a hate crime and arrest them. Mizzy also plays on the paralyzing fear white people have of being called racist. It's an accusation that can destroy livelihoods. His victims would rather be inconvenienced and made to look like fools on a TikTok video than face the legal consequences and the social consequences of being thought racist. They might be right. Like I say, I don't actually blame Mizzy for any of this. I blame white people for being so timid. Western liberal democracies are about the only places in the world with equal rights for everyone, regardless of race. While China, Africa, and the Middle East still have actual slavery, we ended that a long time ago. The pendulum has swung so far the other way that Brits are afraid to step up and act when something is obviously wrong. So grooming gangs are allowed to operate because the authorities are scared of looking racist. Any social worker who raises it as an issue is sent on diversity training. And little rat kids like Mizzy feel that...
Okay, I'm going to stop him there. Did he say...
Little black kids, wow.
No. Did he say little rat kids? Is that what he said?
I thought he said little black kids.
No, he's not.
That's what I thought.
No, because the reason why I came on to, because he's connected to some other guy who I suspect to be anti-black as well. But he was using terms like rat. Now I don't know if that's a YouTube thing where if you say black kids, they flag you, or if this or is this a new term?
Oh, I understand you now. So he might have been his way of changing it up so he doesn't get demonetized or whatever it may be.
Or a new way to demonize black kids is to call them rat kids. I don't know, because this is all fresh. Just like, now the idea, the word woke is now seen as a derogative term.
Exactly.
Because of and what they've connected to transsexuals, black people, and every single so-called minority, and he will use these terms against that, right? But I'm wondering, is this because this is the second time in this speech he said it? And let me take it back. Let's see if we can hear it again. Hold on.
Any social worker who raises it as an issue is sent on diversity training. And little rat kids like Mizzy feel that...
What was that? Was that rat kids? Or...
Yeah, it was rat.
Yeah, rat
Second
kids.
time round, I'm hearing rat.
Now, it might be one of them clever things like he says, no, this guy's a mischief, so I call him a rat, right? And it's got nothing to do with
But
race.
we know it's code word. I get you. Right,
Cognizant,
right.
right? So these are things I pick up very quickly, but then this is what I'm talking about, how certain people might have codified language where even if you confront them, they go, no, that's not what I was saying, right? But they understand and they keep pushing it. But this is a song I came across, and he's not best pleased with stuff, and he does play some of the videos, and I think like this is what I'm saying. This is the visual what they're seeing of three young girls, whatever, and a calm demeanor black person asking, "Do you want to die?" Yeah, and touching their hair. Yeah,
I'm perfectly fine. We're gonna die. Huh? Why are you just lying at me? I asked him a question, serious question. Do you want to die? No. Wow.
Yeah, so this is very troubling. It's very troubling.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's some guidance needs to be given at once, really. But once again, I suspect this kind of stuff will be used as a rally point to demonize so-called rat kids or whatever. Yeah. So this is what happens. Yeah, and we don't blame the youth directly because anti-black racists will use any excuse to attack black people, right? But we have to learn through strategy. We want to minimize, their rally points in it. And the fact that we lost the word woke is interesting. That's just interesting that the word woke is now a derogative term to describe the whole black transgendered kind of whatever.
Sorry to cut you. I'm so intrigued. This is the first time I'm hearing about this. So when did woke become a bad word now? What happened?
Oh wow. So if you don't know what it is woke has allegedly woke was used by like intersectional transgendered kind of concepts where people are saying, if you're a woman, if you're lesbian, if you're black, if you're disabled, if you're all these things, it's intersex intersection and it's we're going to campaign to get more transgendered on TV, more black women on TV, more black men on TV. Well, it's actually not black men. Black men usually are quite excluded, but it's that kind of narrative. So what happens is, like these kind of Star Wars shows and these kind of Rambo shows, whatever it might be, the new batch of these films will have a whole lot of black women or lesbian women or gay men playing lead roles, and then they're saying like representation of wokeness, and they're now using that as an insult. Like, you see what you're doing? You're changing the narrative, and you're using this new woke agenda. Yeah.
We have to recognize.
Wow, they stole our words.
Yeah, but I don't let them steal it. I know what it represented, so yeah. I'm sticking with it. I think that's the problem. We just let them take whatever they want to take, and I think unless we put our foot down, because I think the genesis of woke was actually from Erykah Badu.
Yeah, it's from
came on when when it actually came. So it's when the whole new neo soul genre came into practice. That's when the woke really came, right? And you know who actually? But you know what's interesting, sis? Do you know who started off this? If this is the case, and this is what it is all started from, you know who's the main person that was up against that community? Imagine that, Wendy Williams. She was the main one that brought it to the surface. She brought it to pop TV. She was the one that was going. Remember, she used to call them the Rat Pack Gang or whatever she used to call them, and call them all hoes, and the so-called 5%ers are all crazy. And yeah, she was the first one that brought it to the wider public, to the white perspective. It was Wendy Williams.
So
go look into it.
If we can look at this thing, I've just tapped the word woke, and what you're getting, the most popular thing is like, woke TikTok. Why is this kid section, and woke what's this? Chris Pratt destroys woke haters on epic video. The woke challenge stunned as she hears this. So the dark side of woke TikTok, jokes for woke and offended people. So it's all derogative term towards, and what they do is they use it to include all things to do with what they describe as minority. Yeah, so homosexuals, transgender, black people.
The movement.
Yeah, and it does come from transgendered people using these terms to push an agenda of Like, so it's like we want to get more black women, more transgendered women, and more gay men in films. And because they've included black women in that kind of synopsis, then it's all now one thing. That's what they're doing. So conservative men are rebelling, and the word they're using to demonize is this woke word, and they say things like "go woke or go broke," this kind of stuff.
Wow.
Yeah, it's been
They
going for quite a
stole our
while.
word, gave it a whole new meaning, and now have used it as a targeting. Wow, this is crazy.
I was gonna say though, we have to learn the lessons as well, because that's what happened with, black came into existence. That was a political thing, and it was clear when it began. Now black is BAME or whatever. Everybody's black now.
Oh,
Do you get what I'm saying?
Yes, the BAME,
that's right.
yes.
That's right.
They have a
And
history of these things.
yes,
So there's a level that we have to, and it's not even we have to, we're in the cycle now. That's why people are saying, should we still be calling ourselves black even? Are we African now? Because we can, African attaches you to the landmass. So it's, in a sense, it's the last frontier, on a sense.
Of course.
Even though there's ones and ones on the there's colonizers on the continent right now claiming to be African, but
they're not some people, beloved. This is why we have ice, mountain, sand, and sun. Because even with the words, if we don't nationalize it and be disciplined, they'll take over the words. Because they even try and take over our political words, and myself and others, the Sun Sisters, big up to them, etc. So we have to tell them, no, you're not changing the word. No. It's sonology, and we're having it that way. So we have to be more stricter and nationalistic when it comes to our political phrases and words, and put them in their place and say, no, this is sonology, man. Your ice, sand, and mountain, gwe. You know what I mean? And that you have to be that way, man.
Well,
Yeah.
there was what's his name, the MMA fighter, who he's a Nigerian descendant who was born in New Zealand, and he had a European wife, and I only knew about him because he jumped on to defend Joe Rogan when he said the N word, and he wanted to give Joe Rogan permission to use the N word. So that's how he came on my radar. And what's happened is he was fighting a white South African man. And the white South African man was like, look, mate, I'm actually in Africa. I was born here. I'm African. You're not African. You're New Zealand, whatever it was, right? And he was saying that. And then a few weeks later, the black MMA guy's European wife then tried to steal half of his money. So it's you see what I'm saying? A lot of
wow.
Yeah. So you have the black man born in New Zealand supporting anti-black racists who's wired to a European, who in turn is trying to take off his money, being told by the white South African, you're not even African. So it's ownership's very important, but also how you move, because the optics and how we could do things to depower ourselves. You see, like it's like stepping to a white African with a white wife, trying to stunt on him. He can just say, "Well, you got my woman. Like, what are you talking about?" Do you know? It's like it's why don't you go for your own woman? How are you gonna, do you know what I mean? You give away so much power by not being codified in your behavior plan. Yeah,
I agree. I agree.
Like we're gonna have to have some sort of some national book or something. I forgot what the word that they have in America is. It's on the tip of my Smithsonian or something, where we just log stuff down. Because when I saw the with Erica Badu and they spoke to her about it, because obviously she said, they referenced the song, they've checked all the dates, and they've done a lineup. So they've done from when she did it to when black people were saying it, to when the right got their hands on it, to then when it got to like the deep Trumps and it started becoming like a wokeness about transgender. And they just asked her about it, and I just kind of just felt for her, because I was just thinking, I know what it was when it started, and it just got taken over. And I do think it's a lesson. I think just like everything they do with us, whether it's our trends, our hair, they did it with black women and their hairstyles. When they tried to take black hairstyles, black women said, no, this is the genesis, this is when it started, this is ours. And I think they do this innate. They've done it with our musics, with the Motown. They constantly take and rebrand it as theirs. When are we going to start learning how to like start stamping the kinds of copyright stamp on our stuff from the get-go, holding them accountable? Because where it's gotten to now, you've got Trump people saying it. If they knew it started from Erykah Badu, I don't even know if they'd
just so you know,
would get our word back.
It's actually on Wikipedia at the moment, fair enough. They say the earliest documented term of wokeness comes from Marcus Garvey.
Okay.
And that's what I was going to say. In the philosophies, if you get the philosophy of Garvey, it's all in there. But big up to you, Brother Raven. Big up, brother.
All right, so we'll change it up then. We'll just say
And
this
big
then
up to
to be
Erykah
safe.
Badu as well.
Yeah, we'll
Yeah.
say that when it came to the public,
she coined the saying "stay woke."
Yeah.
And I remember there was a tune that came out, "Stay Woke," as well.
Yeah.
And then it's come to wokeness.
Well, just so you know,
You got to remember they got all these people. Remember they came from York. A lot of them came through here. So you got to understand where it all came from there. Like literally that time. That's how it all really started. And Wendy Williams started to go attacking them all. Andre 3000, all of them.
In 1938, Lead Belly, a musician, he used the phrase "stay woke" as part of our afterword to a 1938 recorded song, Scottsboro Boys.
What color was
it? Say again?
What color was it?
A black guy, of course, black guy. So everyone in this woke thing is black from the old days. And
so do the racist ones know that it started from black people?
Of course they do, beloved. The best race is imitates black people's culture.
That's what they do.
Yeah.
I think if you go to the basic Donald Trump supporting, not very intelligent guy, he's just saying what his hero Donald Trump said. He's not even looked at books. He doesn't even know the genesis of that word. I put money on that. Like, I'm not talking about the ones who are. I'm talking about the general people who are calling wokeness right now, who don't care about anything, and just if you're dark, you're wrong.
They probably don't.
They
probably
have
don't.
clue.
Yeah.
If they knew that it came from, the kind of genesis that Brother Raven is bringing up, then maybe we'll get our word back. I don't see them still doing it.
Well, you know what, beloved? You know what's very interesting? How all of them, indirectly, directly, are nationalists. All of them are. They all are nationalists. It's just we keep
And they
falling
want
for
to fight against poor Miko. Did you hear earlier trying to fight me my little nationalism down? Leave me alone. Leave me
I heard you
alone, Asian
backing me up
people.
as well, just like big up excuses. You see, they try to fight down your national. It's like we're not allowed to be nationalistic, but they're allowed to.
I don't know if you guys can hear this because it's not run through normal channels, but this was David Bowie.
Yeah, I know who he is.
Yeah, but he was talking about because when MTV first came out, it was rock and roll music, but they didn't let black artists play, and so much so that they even had a special award, which was the Black Music Award, which only Prince, Michael Jackson, and Lionel Richard entered or something. But the reason I'm saying is because obviously, as you know, rock and roll is a black art form, and but it came to the point where the channels based upon rock and roll wouldn't play black artists, and I think him being a white artist, who you tend to find that UK rock guys like the Beatles and these guys, because they studied black Delta Southern rock artists to learn how to play, they know that the importance of black because they've copied all their styles with it, right? So when they come to America, they're usually over surprised that the segregation completely, right? I think this is him asking a question about where's the black artist.
I just want to say something, brother. I believe it was Rosetta Thorpe, who the Sun sister, who invented the rock and roll, and the unsynchronized son brother, Little Richard, modified it and made it great. So big up to the son, elder Rosetta Thorpe, who's passed away. She's the mother of it.
Yeah.
It occurred to me, having watched that.
Can you guys hear that, by the way?
Yeah.
Can you turn it up a little bit, please?
Yeah.
The thing is, I can't turn up on here, but let me turn up on my machine and let's see if it's loud. Hold on.
MTV over the last few months. But it's a solid enterprise, but it's got a lot going for it. I'm just floored by the fact that there's so few black artists featured on it. Why is that?
I think that we're trying to move in that direction. We want to play artists that seem to be doing music that fits into what we want to play for MTV. The company is thinking in terms of narrow casting.
That's evident. It's evident in the fact that the only few black artists that one does see are on about 2:30 in the morning or to around 6. Very few are featured predominantly during the day.
No,
I'll say that over the last couple of weeks, these things have been changing, but it's a slow process.
I know it's funny. I think people have different perceptions when you wind up watching. Let's say you watch an hour or 2 or even 3 a day. People somehow come away with different ideas about what we are doing. We don't have any kind of day parting for anything, let alone a black artist day parted out of what would be, quote, prime time. We don't have that.
Because one sees a lot there's one black station on television that I keep picking up. I'm not sure which station it's on, but there seem to be a lot of black artists making very good videos that I'm surprised aren't used on them.
There's been cuts. So what's going on there? Oh, you know what? Oh, there is that full screen. Is that? I'm just wondering. Is it loading or?
It's on MTV.
Well, of course, also we have to try and do what we think not only New York and Los Angeles will appreciate, but also Poughkeepsie or Midwest. Pick some town in the Midwest that will be scared to death by Prince, which we're playing, or a string of other black faces.
That's
and black
very
music.
interesting. Isn't that interesting?
You know, we have to play the music that we think an entire country is going to like, and certainly we're a rock and roll station now. The question would be asked: well, should since we're in New York, should PLJ play?
We'll stop it there. But what I'm saying, what we're highlighting is obviously black rock and roll is a black music form. Prince and these guys, they make rock and roll. They did a whole lot of stuff. I've got the albums. And he was saying, you know, they might be scared. You have to understand, this was literally around about the time, a little before Thriller became a big hit and Purple Rain. You see what I'm saying? So it's like, it's interesting, you know, and this is MTV. It's MTV. This is, you know, how they defend. They're very famous for not allowing black people on their channel at all. But and then using words like rock and roll and all this kind of stuff. So it's that's why ownership is important, because people will then take your stuff and then ban you from using your own stuff and then make millions of it and then go on TV and say, well, you know, they're gonna scare our customers, whatever it might be, right?
But they contradict themselves, because they are the very same people then that will say that, okay, they took in it, they stolen it, whatever. But then in turn, they would have stuff like Rolling Stones magazine and all of that, and even the industry name, rest in peace, Tina Turner, her as the queen of rock and roll. So they literally contradict themselves. They know where it comes from. They know where this comes from.
They definitely know it comes from. I mean, and all that came later on, but all that came later on. But even the fact, yeah, I mean, but this is the thing, like the rock and roll magazine, all this kind of stuff should be owned by black people. And we're not, like, Europeans are going to do what they're going to do, right? But grime music is made in the UK. The grime architect should control that, make institutions based upon that. Hip hop, trip hop, jazz, reggae, all this stuff has to be owned, and the award ceremonies have to come from the people there. And that's why teaching black people ownership is so important, because so many trends come from the black community, but we don't own it. And then non-black people own it. And the first thing they do is they monetize it and they ban you from doing it. You see what I'm saying? And we see this across the board. So that's why we're going to go soon, but that's why we're talking about social ideas. Now, we've got the Black Love social idea. I'm going to do a couple more designs and send this out this week. But I'm asking the community to help me with the concept of black ownership and black economics. What visuals should we say and what should we quote? So right now, the Black Love one is saying a picture of black family. We're going to have many different black families. And then the term black love, which is very important. And then a constructive black man with a constructive black woman makes a constructive black family, Black Betterment Broadcast. What should we write for ownership. I think Brother Daniel.
All I got is one. As long as I see unapologetically African there, I don't care what else is written anywhere else. Just put that in there somewhere, yeah?
I think someone did give some ideas. But yeah, if you guys, the homework you guys is how could we transfer this template into ownership and economics, right? And I'll be thinking of it as well. And then we can promote this. This go on. Once I'm going to promote this, let's go on there, follow it, share it, because essentially, here's what it is, right? This is a strategy. You can always wait for black men or black women to not marry black people, and then hit a campaign saying, I don't agree. But ultimately, what you want to be doing is promoting what we do want rather than what doesn't work in our collective best interest. You see, because that way it minimizes the pushback from anti-black operatives. Yeah. So ultimately, what do we want? We want constructive black men to be with constructive black women and create a constructive black family. You see? And this is the same concept of ownership and economics. How do we write that? And I'll just design it up and then we'll send it out, yeah? But we are at the end of our show. So any last words from our guests? Go ahead.
Hello, sorry, I've been trying to talk, but I think I've been so far back doing my hair, so that's probably why you've not heard me. But
go ahead.
I've got an idea for you. I think with the Black Love ones, I think just because you're talking about social media and like if you're talking about Instagram, it's very photo heavy, right? The optics is key. So I don't think you'd need all of that writing at the bottom there in a small font, especially if you want people to support it and people could put it up as their profile pic and stuff. That stuff will probably not be visible or probably be cutted out. But that's just one of my tips. But what one of my ideas is that you could write Black Love is, and then I have an image of like a black man and a black woman like rubbing in each other's hair, and it's just like you could have like a bottle of like, I don't know, castor oil or coconut oil. Do you know what I mean? Like it's a joke, everyone will know what that means. Or another one is Black Love is, and then a man, like a woman sitting on a chair or a bed, and then the guy sitting on the floor in between her legs, and then she's braiding his hair. You could do Black Love is, so very cultural, like Black Love is big and bold, and then a cultural picture showing symbolic of black love.
That's
and
good.
you could do,
That's good.
and
you know what I'm gonna
you could
add to
do
that
that
as
same
well.
kind of you could do that same kind of vibe with like finance. So black spending is, you know what I mean? You could carry on the theme, but if you just make it very clear and precise and without having to say a lot with words, but the image will catch you. So images that we know that symbolizes a black man and black woman and what we understand is unique to Black love. That's, I think, the vibe you need to go for on that.
I agree. I actually agree.
Yeah, if you shortened it, Brother Raven, you see where you got Black Love and see all of that writing to pick up on what Kushti's saying. So if someone wants you, instead of putting all of that in there, you can just put Afrofusion to simplify it, meaning Africans across the diaspora, you're black, yeah? You can fuse it all together. Black love creates more black love. Do you know what I mean? So if you can just shorten it and maybe use a couple words instead of all of that writing, like Kushti's saying, it may make it much more boom. It's an advert. Boom. This is what it is.
All this is great stuff. Well, I'm writing this stuff down, and what I got is Kushi has actually come up with actual campaign idea, as in it's something like the is campaign. I don't remember. So that's good. One thing I would say is Brandon is I work in marketing, right? It's what I do. What now I've moved over to apps, but generally for 20 years I was in marketing. So consistency is key. So there's things that you're always spelling out. So you can do multiple ideas where it's like, okay, but you have to be very clear on the idea. Because this comes from the Black Betterment Broadcast. The idea is things we say here that become mantras, you promote, yeah, and you're giving people lexicons of ideas. So when they're out there and they're talking, they can say something. So for example, one of the challenges we find is Black people find it hard to articulate Black love because we just showed a video where someone feels demonized, whatever. So it's like, how do we give the words to tackle that doesn't further demonize? And it's constructive Black man, constructive Black woman, constructive family. So these are the textual ideas. But however, what Kushi said about another campaign of Black Love is that's good. We wouldn't necessarily use these as profile pictures. You could share these on stories, whatever.
Yeah.
But text is because even text is in the actual caption are important, but some people don't actually press the button to read the caption. Hence why they put certain kinds of words in the actual image. But less is more. But it's establishing what is the less and what is the quote, if at all.
Because if you want something to trend, it's more about that quick. Like, look at this. You forward it on, you share it to someone. That's why you've got the description. You can add all the hashtags, the Afro stuff that Sis said. So when people say, okay, what is this? Like, I'm loving this. I've seen a few of these. That's when you go to the actual website or the channel, and then that's when you click onto it to get the information. And then that's when it's in the description. And then that's when you go to the link if you want to follow into the website. But you need something where, do you know what I mean? Oh, I've been seeing that about, and you could put your Black Betterment logo on there, like, oh, that's that Black. Where is this? Like, let me Google this. Like, it's just something that's always about.
What's this Black Betterment about?
Yeah, like,
they'll go.
That's important.
Yeah.
So that's important. So what we're because everything I'm writing stuff down. Everything there we're doing. So I'm gonna next week if I get time, I'll design up the is thing you're saying. But what you said is important. There has to be something on there, yeah, that where it is branded. So if the only thing is there is the actual name Black Love is or whatever it is and Black Betterment, that's important because that's the brand of like, oh, I've heard that, right? So but this is good. This is what, but hopefully fam, this is what we're gonna be doing week to week. We're gonna refine campaigns, push ideas, and when I get time I'll mock them up and we can go from okay, let's try this idea. So we'll do that. Anyone else want to say anything? Last word.
I just want to say big up yourself, big up the panel. It was lovely to hear Kushti get excited and about the marketing thing, and she didn't boy.
There you go.
But no, just nice to be here. I haven't been here for a little minute. And yeah, onwards and upwards in terms of the growth and development of the channel and bringing in more people. So yeah, big up yourself.
Big up this Kofa.
Big up.
I'll just say it's another great show. It's a pleasure being with my fellow panelists. So yeah, onwards and upwards with your show, and love to all of the family.
Oh, big up sis Kushti. You know what I wanted to say, I'm wishing I would get to actually finally speak to the sister. I love when she comes on the panel. And every time I hear her, I'm never actually a part of the panel. I'm either busy or something. But is her name Poetic Truth Poetic? I don't know which way.
Yeah. We invite.
I'm loving hearing that. Sister. I wish. Listen, I am out here, Lady Divine's out here promoting for the sister to visit the panels more. I enjoy listening to her when I miss a show and I'm playing it back. Yeah, I'm liking that sister. So big up to her.
Big up sis if you're listening.
If you're listening, sister, let us know here now. And by next week, we're good if you jump in. We always try to create a healthy environment for our sisters to jump in and build. So please come back when you feel you can. Last words, Brother Kale?
Yeah, I got a couple ideas for the word ownership. So I'll sort that out for next week if those are interested.
Yeah.
So but apart from that, brother, Black Betterment.
Thank you, family. So I'm gonna mock this. I'm gonna mock up what Sister Kushti said for us to visually see if I can find some images, and we'll look at that. And then Brother Carl will come back with that. And week to week, we shall refine what we're gonna post on the actual Instagram. You guys at home, you're part of the process. Every idea matters. So feel like putting it in the things, the team effort. There you go. So until then, everyone, Black Betterment. Until next week, have a good time. Black Betterment.
Black Betterment.